Hey guys, I'm Mark Bridge and you're watching Pop Culture Galaxy TV. Now, every time there's a Christopher Nolan movie coming out, we all look forward to those movies. We wait in line, we go to see his movie, then we analyze it, and then analyze it to the point where sometimes we say, "Oh, we hate this movie," or "This is a masterpiece." But Christopher Nolan's films are always event films, and the last one he came out with was Interstellar, which made about over 600 million worldwide. I mean, not his greatest success, but still a success for any filmmaker. And so we're waiting for when is Christopher Nolan's next film, and according to Variety, the next film, Untitled, will come out July 21st, 2017. Now, I like his sci-fi stuff. We got a little bit of sci-fi with Inception, and we definitely got sci-fi with Interstellar. We got the superhero stuff with Batman, and psychological thrillers with Insomnia and Memento. So, what kind of movie is he gonna do next? One thing I don't want a biopic. I think there was some story, a couple of years back that he wanted to do a biopic on some character. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. Also, he wanted to do a Moses film. I think that was one of the rumors. I want it to be an original work. If he's not going to tackle one of the named brands, which Warner Brothers is going to produce his next film, and they've done most of his films, some of them with Paramount, but it's mostly been with Warner Brothers, especially with the Batman saga. Now, I doubt it's going to be one of the DC films. I think he's pretty much done with superhero films. I'll be surprised if it is. Surprised and happy if it is one of the upcoming DC films. But it's with Warner Brothers, so we can rule out James Bond, which he always wanted to do a James Bond film. We can rule that out. So it's either gonna be one of Warner Brothers DC films, or a brand new original work, which I hope it is a brand new original work, not a biopic. Whether it's I can do it with another sci-fi, or I can do with a straight up action movie. I just want to see what he has in the store for us. He never disappointed. I haven't seen a bad film from him. I didn't like Dark Knight Rises as much as the other films, but it's in no means a bad film. It's just not the best of his. I think that's, out of all of his films, that's the weakest. And then followed by maybe Insomnia, I guess. Good movie. It was just not. It wasn't anything special. It was just a thriller, a bad guy and a good guy. It's nothing special to it. But his other films are top notch. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to hear what he has in store. So we know we are seeing a Christopher Nolan movie in 2017. So can't wait. Next up, we know that Matt Damon is returning to the world of Jason Bourne, the Bourne Identity universe. They officially started shooting Bourne 5, and we have a first photo. It's him pretty much shirtless, rugged. Maybe he's been in a fight or whatever, kind of like how Rambo 3 started. You remember those, whoever seen Rambo 3, where he's like tying up, like get ready to do like a little street fight. I wonder if they're gonna do something like that. It could come off as corny, but Paul Greengrass has done a great job with the Bourne series, so I don't think it'll come off corny. But the mere fact that we have an official photo just screams like, oh my god, this is happening. This is actually happening. Matt Damon is returning to the world of the Bourne, and I hope, even though they've all denied it, that Aaron Cross, that's Jeremy Renner's character in Bourne Legacy, I hope somehow they manage to fit his character in he may not be in the movie, but just like maybe at the end, like not a post credit scene, because these movies never have post credit scenes, but somewhere along the lines that they're gonna intersect, because that's an opportunity that is too good to miss. And you know, I hope they sort of figure out a way to actually have these two characters meet. So yeah, I'm there, man. Born Identity or Born, I don't know what this movie is gonna be called. Born something. Born Returns? No, probably not. I think they'll come up with something a little bit more clever, but can't wait. And then Star Wars Episode 8. It was officially announced that Rian Johnson is directing that film. Episode 7 comes out in December this year, where J.J. Abrams is doing that movie. But what is surprising is that 8 actually starts shooting this month. 7 is not even in theaters yet, but 8 starts shooting this month, and it's reported that it's gonna be shooting in Skillig Michael I think it's off the coast of Ireland or something like that. And rumor has it that that's the location where Luke's character has been hiding ever since Return of the Jedi. So could it mean that just the location is coming back, or his character is coming back from Episode 7? So I mean, only time will tell. But the mere fact that they pretty much start shooting this month is just like, wow, okay. I mean, I'm sure a lot of special effects, there's a lot of work to be done, so you need enough time for principal photography so that they can put a good amount of time in post to have the quality that Star Wars deserves, you know, like so yeah, it's I can't wait. And speaking of which, I think even Colin, he's doing Episode 9. He has like a binder, or he tweeted out like a book with Lucasfilm written on it, like he's getting ready to write the script for Episode 9, you know, with a little caption, "Back to School." So you know, it is real, man. It is real. We're gonna get, for the next 5 years, we're gonna be inundated with some Star Wars goodness, and I ain't mad at that. Now, finally, I actually wanted to have a discussion on superhero fatigue. I hate it. I absolutely hate it whenever the topic of when will the superhero bubble break or burst? When will people get tired of superhero films? You know, when, you know, like this, it won't last long, blah, 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 blah. It's like, why do they keep spelling doom for superhero movies? They've been doing this since 2005. Since 2005, before Marvel came out with Iron Man, you know, they've been like, oh yeah, it's gonna, you know, superheroes are the great big thing now, but it's gonna die off soon. Boom, Marvel started throwing out superhero films. Yeah, it's good now, but it's gonna die off soon. Boom, more Marvel movies, and now DC is getting into the game. Fox is trying to do their thing with, even though they failed with Fantastic Four, but I'm not even gonna discuss that again. But it's just that everybody keeps saying, oh, it'll end, it'll end, it'll end, it'll end. Why are we trying to spell doom for superhero movies? Like, why can't we just enjoy them, right? Spielberg came out the other day. God bless him. I love Spielberg. But he's like, oh yeah, it's going to be like the Western. And, you know, not as many Westerns are going to be, you know, not as many superhero films are going to be made once, you know, people get tired of it. The problem is with Western as a genre just fit into one mold. It was just like, there's only so many deviation from the aesthetic of a Western you can make, right? It's always going to be desolate, dry, sandy. Yeah, you can mix it up with like shadow, darkness, but there's just not that many things you can do with the Western. It's not, you know, take for instance Cowboys and Aliens. Like, they try to make it like a Western, it just didn't mesh, you know what I mean? You try to get a Western out of its comfort zone, it's just not. It doesn't work. What was that Johnny Depp movie? Lone Ranger, right? It just, like, you try to make an adventure film from a Western. It doesn't work. The superhero genre, on the other hand, doesn't necessarily, well, comic book, I should say comic book genre, doesn't just cover the superhero genre. It covers a wide range of topics. It could be as serious as History of Violence. That was a comic book. It could be Road to Perdition. That's a comic book. Or it could be Spider-Man, Captain America, Guardians of the Galaxy, which is a space film. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. It just, the comic book genre just flows through so many, you know, it just crosses over too many genres for this thing to die, right? Now, let's just say, you know, play devil's advocate and call them, like, they're speaking of particularly superhero genres. You know, the Captain Americas, the Spider-Man, Superman. Even those, I don't think people will get tired of. As long as we're getting great stories. Remember, we have, I think, over 30 years or more of stories on these characters. And as long as they've been making movies of these characters, from 1978 Superman, even before that with other television shows / movies that have tried to adapt comic books, they've only scratched 1%, and I'm being generous here, 1% of the lore of these comic book stories. Like, how many times are we going to see Joker? How many times are we going to see Lex Luthor? You know what I mean? It's, if they manage to say, hey, let's take some of these books. Marvel is doing it right, you know? Marvel is like, okay, let's take some of these really popular stories and put them to the big screen. The Winter Soldier. Who would have thought? Let's put the Winter Soldier on the big screen and let it work. Because let's face it, it's not the most popular Marvel storyline. It was never the most, it was one of the best written storyline, but it's not the most popular, right? But let's take that idea and put it there. That's why Marvel is staying fresh with their property. They're taking storylines from their comic book lore that aren't necessarily comic booky or superhero-ish. You know, the Guardians of the Galaxy, perfect example. You know, these aren't superheroes. They just happen to be a bunch of heroes in space. You know what I mean? Winter Soldier was just pretty much Captain America stuck in a political thriller. If you manage to keep the genre on its toes, as Marvel is doing, and hopefully DC does, with you know, mixing a genre, Suicide Squad is a perfect starting point. You know, yeah, we're gonna get our superhero fix when Batman vs Superman comes out, but we're gonna that same year as Superman vs Batman, we're gonna get Suicide Squad. Which is a whole different category unto itself. This is a story with nothing but bad guys here. You know what I mean? If we manage to get all those type of films in the comic book genre, I don't see this thing dying anytime soon. There's too much versatility when it comes to comic books being adapted to the film, even the superhero genre. There's so many things you can do with it. We haven't even just scratched the surface. If I had to put a date on it, we got at least 30 years more story. And the fact that technology is increasing so much, you know, it's getting so great that everything that we've sort of imagined a superhero movie or imagined what we could do with this genre, you know, now we can do it. Now it's possible. So why not? You know, like, why spell doom for the superhero genre? Trust me, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. So that's all I'm trying to say. I'm not one of those naysayers. Everybody had their own opinions on and what they think. I think Chris Evans pretty much said the same thing I said. As long as they keep, you know, reinventing the wheel, you know, I don't think they have anything to worry about. So yeah, like even what's her name, Emma Thomas, she said, or Thompson, I think Emma Thompson, said like she loves the movies, but if they reboot Spider-Man one more time, she's gonna hang herself. But it's a little bit too, like, settle down there, right? You know, like a lot of laymen, people who aren't too much into it, will look at it like, oh my god, how many times they're gonna tell the same story. I think Marvel is doing it right by not doing the origin story, so we're gonna hit the ground running with Spider-Man, so we have nothing to worry about there. But yeah, it's you know, the comic book genre is going nowhere anytime soon, and there's too much story to tell. So that's just my 2 cents. So that about does it for this episode of PopCulture Galaxy TV. You can like this video, like the rest of the videos, subscribe to the channel so you can know when new videos are posted. You can like us on facebook.com/PopCultureGalaxy, and you know, follow me on Twitter. I'm at Marky Tantra, and visit PopCultureGalaxy.com for all your entertainment goodies. So until next time, folks, peace.